Hello, guys. It's late. It's Monday night. And I've been trying to get online to do this because there was this really big story that dropped this evening. And it was posted by Kat Tenbarge from Business Insider. And it was related to a big influencer that has been in the news a lot in the last several months, let's just say, like since the summer, maybe since before then. But Kat wrote an article about them back in October. And when she wrote the article, all these people came forward and basically were saying that this person, and I'll get to who this person is in a minute. I just want to leave the person's name out of it to just get your response before knowing who it's about. So I just want like a blanket kind of understanding of like, what's your first impression kind of thing. So if you were someone who had a lot of money and a lot of influence, and you had a company that had a lot of millions of dollars, and you had a humongous platform, and you had made that platform by selling products to teens and so forth, and you have trying to figure out why I can't find anyone here. I know it's late. So if you had a really large platform, and if you had millions of people that were subscribed to you, and you had products that you sold primarily to teenagers, and you had a history and a reputation that was not congruent with being friendly to that population, and you had things that had happened in your past that would damage that reputation, and you had people in your past that were going to speak out about what happened to them that you did, okay? So let's catch up. Someone with a lot of influence, someone with a lot of power, someone with a lot of subscribers, someone with a lot of money, okay? And then once they have that money, when people try to speak out and share their story, they offer thousands of dollars to ask them to retract it. So the people from this person's past speak to Business Insider. They tell them, this person did X, Y, and Z to me. They have proof. They have witnesses. They have people that can substantiate what happened, there's corresponding tweets and videos, and you have all of that, right? I've had nothing to drink tonight. I literally came downstairs from my son's bedroom. It is late and I'm speaking quietly. I am completely and totally sober. Thank you for asking. So you have all of that, right? They have a lot of money. They have a lot of millions of dollars. There's this person that has this story about them. And then when that person then tells that story along with corroborating witnesses to Business Insider, who then publishes the article in October, but only a few days before the article goes live, I'll tell you guys who we're talking about in a minute. As soon, a few days before that article goes live, all the people involved retract their statements. Every single one of them. So every single person that had something to say about that situation, all of them suddenly have nothing to say. And so if you were that person, suddenly Business Insider finds out that the person that made the claims against that really large influencer was paid off, allegedly $45,000 not to talk. So $45,000. They provided in the article a cashier's check, evidence of a cashier's check, screenshots from a settlement statement. They've had the person's signature on the settlement. They had terms and agreements of the settlement. If you knew if someone on this platform did that, like how would that make you feel? Would that make you feel like the person that's doing that paid that person, allegedly paid that off? Would you think that's hush money? Or would you think that's just damage control because they don't want the story to go out? But they had all of the evidence that this alleged incident happened. And then suddenly, those people retract. Okay. So the person involved is Jeffree Star. And the article is, so here's what happened. Cat 10 barge from Business Insider. Yes, it's allegedly. I have been very careful in all of this. Jeffree Star, this is from Business Insider. There are receipts that are provided by Business Insider. But in October, this person came forward and said that Jeffree had done these things to him that were very, very serious in 2009, which involved SA and physical stuff and coercion and an alleged taser, okay? And he claimed that this all happened without his consent. There were friends of his that were there that night. They confirmed their story. They verified it. There were tweets. There was video evidence there was video evidence in this article that showed them Jeffree kissing this kid who was underage at the time. And 3 days before Kat was supposed to release that article, suddenly this person told Kat that they retracted everything. They didn't remember everything correctly. And then other sources that were connected to the story told her the exact same thing. Suddenly, within 3 days, all of the sources didn't want anything to do with it. So then he never got arrested for any of this. So then they find out through public record searches and through tracking through Bank of America that the source, whose name is Gage, was allegedly paid $45,000 by Jeffree Star. $25,000 to retract his statement. Business Insider provided a photo of the check that was written by Jeffree Star's business partner and CEO of Jeffree Star Cosmetics. He was given $25,000 to retract, and then $10,000 for each person that he got to retract. That also corroborated his story. So he was paid a total of $45,000, and by this guy, who is the CFO or the CEO, I think, of Jeffree Star Cosmetics. They get a copy of the settlement agreement, and it basically has instructions about how you'll get $25,000 if you, and this is all in this article. The settlement agreement said, like, you'll get $25,000 if you retract, you'll get $25,000 if the article isn't published, and then you'll get X, Y, and Z. Well, he didn't get the $25,000 that, for not having it published, because Kat went ahead and published this anyway. She put it out regardless. She didn't care. She was of the belief even then that there was hush money. So now they've published a copy, a photo of the cashier's check that was issued by Bank of America, who has confirmed that it was a bank account through Bank of America that issued the check. There's a photo of the money that was actually, there was a photo of the money that was actually provided and distributed from that. So the cash that was given out, there was a copy of there with a signature from Jeffree Star. So there was a signature of Jeffree authorizing this payment to these people. So he denies this all. He said it's false. He hasn't denied the money part of it, but he denied the allegations. And the denial of the allegations was all surrounded about, they were able to issue this denial based on the fact that he said, all the witnesses have retracted their statements. So in October, he issues this denial and says, well, this isn't true because all of them have retracted their statements. Well, now that he said in October, all of them have retracted their statements, now they're saying that they retracted those statements because they were paid off. So this is like such a mess, in my opinion. Like, how on earth, why would someone pay someone off if there's nothing to pay off? Why would you quiet something that was a lie? Because if it was a lie, for instance, and Kat had published this with total disregard for the facts and the truth, he could have just gone after Business Insider. He could have just sued if it wasn't true. So if it wasn't true, why would you pay people off? It's easier to pay them off, says Elizabeth. So the articles are published by Business Insider. So if you go to Business Insider, you can read everything that happened that Gage said happened to him and that other witnesses corroborated. I don't want to say, like, I don't want to talk about the allegations. He didn't press charges. He didn't file a report. He was 17 when it happened. There was nothing that he did to report it. So he comes out with the statement. He talks to Kat. His friends also corroborate this. And it's interesting because why on earth would he then suddenly retract? And our hush money, like if someone's paid off hush money to stop a story from getting out, is that, I don't know the legalities of that. So if you want to see Kat's full story, it's on Business Insider. I actually I put a tweet of it out on Twitter because it has all the receipts in there. Obviously, they had a lot of proof for what they were claiming. Jeffree Star has not responded to any of this. This happened in 2009. So why would someone want to, and it's this kid never, who's now an adult, never pressed charges. So is there anything from the chat that says,
These cats can't be in here.
I'm online, Todd. Okay, so he was 17 at the time. I don't know what the statute of limitations are. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't know what the statute of limitations are in the state of California. I think they changed them. But regardless, this person did not file charges. And it happened again in 2009, allegedly. That's what this person told Business Insider. And then now there's the alleged payments. No, 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 no. Hey, hey, hey. No, no, no. Oh my God, you guys. This is chaos. Come on. Rita, get downstairs. Come on. No. Get in there. Oh, sorry about that. There's kittens. There's kittens. Yeah, I'm fine. We have kittens that don't like the doggies and the doggies that don't like the kitties. Okay, so everyone is fine. Everybody is fine. Okay. I am fine. I just had to stop the kittens and the doggies from fighting. Okay, so if I don't want to wake the whole house, correct? I don't want my son to wake up. I don't want a fight, any of that. Okay. So if that's true, what would be the reason for anyone to pay that kind of money? Statute of limitations is 10 years. If you are just joining, you can rewind and go all the way back to the beginning. So if you are joining now, and if you're, okay, so back to the original question. If you are someone that has a lot of money, there's a story that's gonna come out, $45,000 is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money to someone who has millions of dollars. Didn't say, okay, first off, Julia says that Jeffree did this. I'm saying that Business Insider claims that this is what happens. Gage says this is what happens. They say that there's these payments, there's these receipts with these payments. This is not my story at all, literally. This comes from Business Insider, and they have all kinds of evidence for their article. And again, these are allegations, which I've also said repeatedly. But if that's what someone does, why would someone pay someone hush money? I'm honestly wondering. Do you think there is something to be said for just wanting something to go away and you'll just pay regardless? Like, you don't care. You'll just, like, you didn't do anything, but you'll still pay it off just to make it go away. I mean, that's a fair assumption. It could happen. If you have money and you want something to go away, you could do that. Although, if somebody's making a false claim for payoff, that would actually be extortion. So then the person that comes up with the claim would be extorting them, technically. There's so much more to this story. And if you didn't do anything, why would you pay them off? Robin says it's gross no matter what. I've been a victim of this myself, and no money. Yeah, it's so hard for me. To be fair, that's happened to celebrities before. It still sounds sketchy. And that's what I'm saying. This kind of stuff does happen to people that have a lot of money. A lot of people can come up with claims. Yes, so the article is out now. If you go to my Twitter, it's actually WOACB official, and I tweeted it a couple hours ago. Kat Tenbarge from Business Insider wrote the article. Chris says, they get accused of many things when they are famous. It's often done, from what I understand. They claim Michael Jackson paid off a lot of kids just to make it go away, but who knows? I don't want to talk about the Michael Jackson stuff. And that was Chris Marie's stuff. The payoff stuff with Michael Jackson was actually part of a documentary, I think, the alleged payoffs. But I don't want to talk about Michael Jackson. It has nothing to do with Michael Jackson. It does happen in this world that people can come up with stuff and then people will just pay it because they have the money and it's easier to just make it go away. I don't know. Something just seems really bizarre to me. It wasn't part of a documentary. It was mentioned in the documentary. Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Doobie. Either way, what happened with Michael Jackson and any alleged payoffs that he did is not relevant to this conversation right now, and I don't want to talk about it. I want to keep this to this current topic. But, and even so, this is not new. No, but the Hush Money article literally just dropped tonight. So she came out, Jeff, okay, you're not going to jump on a hate train just because that. Did it happen when he was still in music? I believe so. It happened in, I think the year was 2009. I think that's what Kat's article said. Don't quote me. There was The article was from October 2020. I think she published it October 20th, 2020. And it had a lot of separate allegations. Like the one about Gage was not the only one that was in there. That was probably the most damning one that was in there. But there was other stuff in there that of some, alleged behavior and various people saying different things about various things that happened while he was on tour and that kind of stuff. So, I don't really know. And none of the stuff that was in the article was really new per se. It wasn't like anything that if people that were in that world followed it back then, it's a bit strange why all this could come out now when it occurred in 2009. That's the part of it that's always kind of sat funny with me is like, why are these people coming out now with what happened in 2009? Apparently, part of that article, if I remember correctly, is that if I remember correctly, he had wanted to come out publicly and say something before. Timing is everything, and some people will pay it off because once it's out there, it becomes fodder for gossip and speculation. Kate says, fear for damage to reputation, even if nothing can be proved in court. Yeah, if you Google it Kat's done several articles about it in the last few days, in the last few months. There's even a video of them that was published in that article. And then there's this other site called Sticky Drama, I think, who had originally interviewed Gage several months ago, and that's kind of where Business Insider got this lead from. So my biggest thing, court would not be an option at this point, I believe, because of the statute of limitations. Jimmy says he doesn't buy from him. I have never, so in terms of Jeffree Star's products, I've never been someone that used his products, so it wouldn't change my opinion to that. No, yeah, so they took the money and they signed NDAs. So if they took the money and signed NDAs, then according to the article, allegedly, Jessica, the article from October talked about a lot of different things. It talked about race stuff. It talked about some of his antics. It talked about some of his behaviors while he was on tour, just some of his actions, just a lot. It was coming out when everyone was already piling on to Jeffree. So Kat Tenenbarge is the one who broke the story for Business Insider. And after it came out, Jeffree actually threatened to sue Business Insider. And I don't know. Jeffree was a hot mess on the Warped Tour, says Marcia. I don't know again. That was your comment, not mine. So it's Kat Tenenbarge. Tenbarge is the writer for Business Insider that covered the story. I actually follow her, and she follows me, and I retweeted it when I saw it today. Because, again, it's all alleged. I'm trying to figure out how they would have even gotten a copy of the NDA. Like, typically with an NDA and a settlement like that, you wouldn't be able to find it. So did somebody who signed it provide the information to them? Like, there's so many questions here, but they somehow were able to get a photo, an alleged photo of even the money that was put out. And typically Business Insider is pretty good with their sourcing, with their legal department. So what they're saying is they got him to sign a non-disclosure agreement and he was paid off $45,000. That's what the allegation was in Kat's article tonight. He paid off this kid and then he allegedly paid off 2 other people. The article had alleged like signatures and a Photoshop or a photo of a check that was paid. I'm just like, that's why he's going to, well, I'm not going to speculate that, Kat. So there's so much. Claire LTD01, hey, what's up? Shouting you out. So it's just such a confusing story to me. It honestly is. So, and I'm trying to figure out, in general, Business Insider typically does a really good job of sourcing. Renee says she doesn't know what to think. Jessica says there's a lot of moving parts to this one, but I hope it's not true. Okay, here's the thing is, I would hope it's not true only because I would hope that there was no one that was hurt. You know what I mean? I would hope that it's not true because I would hate for someone to have gone through the alleged things that this man says that happened to him, you know? That's why I would hate for it. I would want it to be not true. And then then I would also want it to be, if it were true, and conversely, if he was doing this as a means to, you know, lie, then that's a whole nother side of things. But yeah, so Business Insider has a legal department. So obviously their legal department was able to weigh everything. They've never pulled any of the articles, even though Jeffree's threatened to sue them. And you'll have to read the article. I don't want to go into detail about what happened to him, allegedly. It involved alleged SA. So oh, thank you, Steph. Jeffree may sue them. He could. Jeffree had, he threatened to sue them and they still published. Okay, so the article, I'll drop a link for it in my description box when I'm done here. And it's also, I tweeted it out. It's on my Twitter account at WOACB official. You can also find the article with Kat. 10 barge. Do I think that I would be able to write a book about the community around the time of the boom and how it all got so dramatic? I've learned a lot in the last few months, a lot. It's pretty amazing, to be honest, how many people have ended up in my inbox sharing stories about various people, including Jeffree Star, and different alleged things that these influencers are doing. I mean, one of the most common things that I heard from people that I talked to that are in that world were saying like backdoor sponsorships that they don't disclose, or alleged sponsorships that they don't disclose.
where a brand would pay so-and-so allegedly to six figures, like $200,000, $300,000, and then that person would never actually disclose that they had that sponsorship, which is actually not, that kind of stuff isn't legal. And then just a lot of people that are just trying to protect their reputations at all cost. So I've learned a lot in the last few months for sure, even more so in the last month. And yeah, like product placement. Like one influencer told me that it's, and again, this was their perspective, and one influencer told me that there were influencers that would, take brand deals, and then those brand deals would not be, they wouldn't tell their audience that they were paid to do it. So they would end up just like doing videos saying like, I'm going to demo this new Too Faced palette or whatever. I'm not saying, I don't want to say Too Faced did this, but that's just like an example. Or I'm going to demo this La 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 palette. I'll use a non-company palette because I don't want Too Faced to say that. I don't want to allege that Too Faced did anything because they haven't done anything. But, so La 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 says that they are going to put out a palette, and then this influencer, Jane Doe, puts out a video for La 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 palette and then doesn't actually disclose to their audience that they have an endorsement from them. And so, and then they can exactly, a review for pay, effectively. Like, I'm gonna pay you to basically promote this without disclosing it, allegedly. That's been something that people have talked about for a long time in that world. So there's been, the FTC has like fined a lot of different influencers for doing stuff like that. I don't know if there's been any influencers in that world that have been penalized for it yet that I know of. I'm not sure. And then just some other stuff that I was told just randomly is that some people that review products end up not having good relationships with the companies that they review because they can end up ruining people's businesses because of it. Like, so, and I'm not implying that any single person did this, but say Jane Doe goes onto her channel or his channel, or John Doe goes onto their channel, and they say, I don't like stocking stuffers palette. It's terrible. It doesn't have good swatches. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. And stocking stuffer palettes is a indie brand or something. And then that brand ends up getting destroyed and nobody wants to buy it because Jane or John Doe said that they didn't like it. So I trust the not a sponsor reviews, but see, that's what I'm talking about, Daria. I'm talking about these people that say they're not having sponsored reviews being actually sponsored. So that's sort of what I was told by a couple people, that there's several different people that do this. Yeah, Merlena Stell from Makeup Geek actually called a lot of the influencers out for doing that. So it's again, you have to disclose sponsorships like that to the FTC, and they have to be disclosed on your videos, and so it's interesting if you think about it in that context. So I don't really know in general. I think one day it would be interesting to write a book about all of this. I don't have enough inside knowledge. Honestly, there are other people that have covered this industry a lot more than I have that have way more inside knowledge that have told me a lot of like stuff about various brands and who they're fighting with and what influencers they're fighting with and what brands don't like who and what influencers don't like who and that kind of stuff. But, honestly, in general, it just seems like a very, in my opinion, a very petty community that's very, appearance focused and fake in terms of like how it all looks. So in general, I don't know what to make of this story about Jeffree Star. I haven't decided. And honestly, I don't feel like, even if say it were all true, his biggest fans would still not believe it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But check out Kat's video about it, or Kat's article about it. Someone said that Gage put out a statement. Boxy says that did Gage put a statement out 8 hours ago? In terms of Davi, I can't speak to that because it had nothing to do with him. Yeah, I want to know who gave them a copy of the check. You know what I mean? Like, who gave them a copy of that cashier's check? How would they just access it? Settlements like that are not typically found in public record. Now, that website claimed that they got it via public record search, which makes no sense to me. And then who would have a picture? How would they get a picture of the money or the alleged money that was given out to them? He hasn't sold out a pallet in the last 3, you said? The check was real, according to Business Insider. Oh, yes, Boxy, yes. There was text messages where he was basically saying you'll get $10,000 if you retract. Yeah, that was in her first article, I believe. There's lots of receipts. So at the worst, if it's true, he's basically paying someone off about something that could either be true or false. So you still don't really know. But all of it just leaves like a weird taste in my mouth. I don't understand paying people off. I don't understand, that whole concept. I mean, if you have a brand, I guess you want to protect it. But at the same time, like, there's some things in life that you can run from for your whole life, but the truth will always come out, It's kind of like, and I'm not comparing him. I don't want to say I'm comparing Jeffree Star to Bill Cosby because that's not what I'm trying to do. But that's just an example I can think of as someone that for years sort of ran from this secret and eventually it all kind of came out. But it could just be that his management just says, well, this is just happening, so let's just pay them off and get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, let's just make this go away. What's your price kind of thing? Because that kind of stuff does happen too. Do they not? I mean, like, is it worth it to them to fight a lawsuit in court or, do you think he'll address this? I don't feel like he didn't really address it last time. Did he? I feel like his lawyer issued a statement, but I don't recall him actually making a statement. Jeffree's, yeah, only his lawyer did. That's what I thought. His brand hasn't been around that long. I think it's been 2014 or 15 is when it launched. No, his first name, I believe, according to the article, was like, I don't even know, Andrew or something. Yeah, Shane's palette is at TJ Maxx for sure. Yeah, the article said it was like Andrew or something like that. So yeah, I think he was 17, I believe, and homeless, according to the article. All right, so yeah, something is going on that's funny. That's all I can say about it. Oh, Arthur. The article says Arthur. Got it. Does this make... I'm tired. I am tired. Now, the other question is, does this make Ryland and Morgan more cancelable because now they're friends with Jeffree too? Do we have to cancel people's friends? Ryland Adams literally just... He literally just interviewed Jeffree not long ago. So that's the question. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to bed. And yeah, I know, I feel bad for Morgan. Like, honestly, I really want to like her. Her videos are kind of quirky and funny, and she's kind of goofy and innocent and silly. Like, I don't want to hate Morgan just because her brother is with Shane. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like you have to not like someone just because they are friends with somebody. That to me is just silly. But that's just me. If you don't want to like someone, that's on you. I just don't want to I hate being in the middle of something like, okay, just because she likes him doesn't mean I can't like her. That's kind of how I feel about that kind of stuff. Unless, for instance, she did something family's going to stick with family. Well, yeah, Morgan's going to stick with her brother, and Shane. Yeah, friends with both, for sure. All right, well, that's what I have for tonight. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't, or don't. It doesn't really matter. Do some digesting of this topic. Think about it, marinate it, read the articles, discuss with among your friends. Don't send hate to any of these people. Don't say nasty things to any of these people. Remember, all of these are allegations. And yeah, just be kind. Kind-ish. Good night, everyone.